Hello, everyone. Welcome to FinanceOlogy 101. Class is now in session. The information provided during this podcast is just that, information. You will need to do further research to address your specific situation. Enjoy the session.
Hello, my name is Elroy Seegers, and this is my lovely wife, Robin Seegers.
Hello, everyone. Elroy and I are happy to announce that we created a company called Gifted Generations LLC. The reason we started this company was to produce services and projects that will be a blessing to other people. We all have gifts in us that we're to use to help other people and to bless other people and to make generational change. The first project that Gifted Generation has completed is the FinanceOlogy podcast. Now, this podcast will be a tool to help people be financially aware and financially free.
Oh boy, now the podcast. What's it going to be about? Well, we will have professional financial advisors to provide you with tips. We will also interview the everyday working person to discuss their pitfalls and their path to financial success as they chart their way to wealth and freedom. Now, Robin, what do you think about what we're doing and what we're about to embark upon?
Well, I'm excited about this opportunity to talk to people and address those financial issues that we all seem to be as seen as taboo. In families, you don't like to talk about the money situation and fear for argument or coming to the realization that there's a lack of money. So I'm excited about the opportunity to bring it to the table and open up that door and breathe a breath of fresh air and just talk about it and have people start thinking about their finances.
Yeah, I knew when I was growing up. I'm not gonna say talking about money was taboo. It just wasn't taught in our household. We kind of watch and observe. As the youngest child, my mother always took me out to do shopping and stuff. So I just had to watch and observe and watch how she handled money and how she would just think out loud, cutting corners as far as I need to save $1 for this, $1 for that, and giving us money for Christmas to spend. And then we had to allocate money for each person. So, that conversation is something, in my generation with my mother, we just didn't have. And we're trying to change that narrative as we go forward.
And like Elroy, I grew up with a single mom as well. And like him, I was the one that got up in the mornings and went shopping with my mom. And I watched how she stretched that dollar to feed us and to make sure we had what we needed. So there was no talking about saving and investing in our family because each dollar was assigned to a bill. There was nothing left. So you grow up and not knowing how to save and invest, so it's trial and error. So you live in life and you don't know what to do with your money, and then when you start coming into money, you're still spending and mismanaging the money. So at some point we both had to realize that we needed to do better with our finances, and thank God that Elroy, God blessed him with that mind to see money 3 and 4 dimensional, because I don't see it that way. He has a creative way of thinking about money.
Thank you, baby.
and in doing that, he has led this family in our finances that we live comfortably, and that's a blessing. But that was trial and error. We had to figure it out and we had to figure it out as we went along. And so we're trying to teach the next generation that you don't have to do that, especially if you already have someone that forged that path. All you got to do is follow behind. So be willing to listen and learn.
So let's talk about this right here. So people now begin to log on and listen to us talk. Why do you think we're able to do such things like this here? What qualifies us, in your opinion, for us to speak on these subjects and matters?
Well, definitely life experience. That everyone can learn from their pitfalls and their mistakes. So life experience, and we've taken so many of those financial classes. Our church, our pastor has offered financial classes to the members, and we've taken every financial class that they offered so that we can be better. And so along the way, we also started mentoring people on how to see money differently and how to utilize that money, because a lot of people think that you have to make more money to be in a better position, but you can be in a better position with that same money you have right now. It's just the way you manage it.
Yeah, and personally speaking, Robin and I have taken the Dave Ramsey classes. We've actually taught and took the Joseph Sango classes, and that's what she was referring to as far as Raleigh North Christian Center teaching classes. It's called Financial Learning Experience at that church, and we've taught 2 sessions, 6 weeks apiece. And just doing that, and additionally, I've also did some tutoring, mentoring, 11 months long, with a program called Step Up of Raleigh, and that's an 11-month program where you mentor people about their finances and budgeting. So those things, and plus our, like as she said, our life experiences, the pitfalls that we're trying to help people to avoid, and just to get to that mountaintop. I think that is something that builds a foundation for us to speak on. So, Robin, can you talk about some of the classes or some of the sessions? I shouldn't say classes, like some of the podcasts that we're going to be covering, and can you speak to that a little bit, please?
Well, we have a list that we're going to try to address as we're hosting these podcasts. We're going to start with saving, creating an emergency fund.
Oh yeah, emergency fund's important.
Paying down your debt, paying bills on time, tithes and offering, which is definitely very important.
Let me stop you for a second real quick. Tithes and offering. A lot of people call tithes and offering a bill. It's not a bill.
It's not a bill.
It's not a bill, y'all. We need to get that straight right now. It's something that you take out first, and that's something you give the first 10%. You don't say, "Oh, I got to pay my tithes." You give.
You give your tithes,
and then
right.
You give offering above
Right.
the tithes. So,
Right.
so go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. We'll speak to that.
That's fine. Credit card versus cash. Um, s- um, Joining your company's 401k, especially if they have free matching. Because when you don't join and they have free matching, you're just giving away and throwing away money.
Yep.
Student loans, your credit reporting, purchasing a car, purchasing a home, refinances, reverse mortgage for our seasoned listeners, marriage and finance, and that's important because you have to be on the same page. You have to be, because a lot of marriages has broken up regarding finances.
So what she's referring to is not so much that we're going to be talking about those things. We're going to have someone to speak to those topics for us and with us, and just going to be having a conversation like on a couch and just talking about some of those things, and we're learning as we're talking on the couch, and then we're going to step outside of that, have an everyday conversation with everyday people, entrepreneurs, people who are not entrepreneurs, that just want to talk about their finances and where they are and where they're going. Because one thing I have always learned, I always tell people this right here: look at where you're at right now, and look and dream about where you want to be when you retire. If that vision does not match the path that you're on, you have to change that slope to get to that dream. Now, if you want to say, "Hey, I want to live in a tent," and you live in a tent now, you're good to go. Keep the same path. But you want to say, "I want to live in a beach house, and I want to just be able to just enjoy life and travel," but right now you under a ton of debt, then you won't have to change something. And the first thing you got to change is your mindset.
Oh, yeah, it starts in the mind. Everything starts in the mind. So if you want a better life, you want to live debt free, you want to be free in your mind and in your finances, you have to work at it. You have to be engaged. A lot of people use those debit cards and credit cards, and that's mindless swiping. And you're not thinking about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So these discussions we're going to have is to get you to start thinking and engage you in the finance process.
Yeah. Some of the questions, not all, just throw a few out there. We're not going to talk to the actual information on there. Some of the questions that we're going to be asking everyday people Tell me about your financial experience. What stresses you about money? What do you think or feel when you hear the word budget? Another one is, what struggles do you have when you're trying to save? There are struggles because not everyone saves alike, especially when you have a partner, a spouse. One want to save and one may want to spend. How do you coordinate those efforts so you can move towards that financially free and fit life and be able to fund your future? Those kind of things we will be discussing and a whole lot more. So as we embark upon this path and this journey, we want you guys to join us also.
Yes, join us and listen to these discussions we're having, and have out a pen and paper so you can be writing down some of these tips and tricks that may come up that can help you on your journey. And just remember, this information is just that. It's information to spark you, to engage you, to go out and research and gather more information for your specific situation so that you can be better at handling and dealing with your money.
Remember, we're going to be providing you with a lot of information. And as always, you can always just play it back and listen to it again. Just be ready. Get your mind ready. Bring people around with you and have a conversation. And it may just spark something into you that changes. Because one thing that we want to do is mentor people to be better. So, Robin, how can they find us?
They can find us on Gifted Generations LLC dot, I'm sorry, I'm gonna repeat that. Gifted Generations LLC.com. Again, Gifted Generations LLC.com.
She forgot the dash again. It's Gifted Generations LLC.com.
Sorry.
It's new. It's all new, baby.
It's all good. It's all good. And on that site, you will find links to the podcast and other little goodies and treats and projects we may be working on.
We can also be found on BeanPod under FinanceOlogy 101. Is anything else? Any other ways they can follow us? Just is that right? Just that one place. We got more coming though, I know.
Right. From Gifted Generations, there'll be links to everything that we're doing.
Okay.
So instead of reading out all the information, if you go to Gifted Generations LLC.com, you will see links to the podcast and other projects that we have. And we're so excited about this opportunity. And as Gifted Generations, we always say, same money, new level.
Don't forget the dash.
Well, thank you for tuning in to our podcast, FinanceOlogy 101. I hope you enjoyed this session and the information provided will assist you on your financial journey. Until next time, be financially engaged.